Hey Judy, I just wanted to give you like a brief overview of this course AP seminar in case you've never really heard of it. It's kind of new. It's only been around for like 4 or 5 years. I've only been teaching it for 3 years. I just wanted to kind of give you a sense of what the course is. It's part of this AP capstone program. It's the first year. It's a research course. Essentially what they're trying to do is learn good research skills. So they write a bunch of research papers. So the framework here they use is QUEST. They're learning to question and explore, to understand and analyze, to evaluate multiple perspectives, to synthesize ideas, and to work with teams to transform and transmit information. What I really want to focus on with you is the assessment structure. So you're probably familiar with the fundamental AP assessment structure, which is to take an AP course and then you take the AP test at the end. That's what my AP literature students are doing. They spend the whole year in the course learning about all this stuff, and at the end they sit for the test and they get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. In AP seminar, it's totally different. So there is a test at the end, but the end of course exam, the test that they're going to sit for in May, is only 45% of that final score of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. In addition to that, the remaining 55% come from 2 research papers and presentations that they do over the course of the year. The first one is the team project or presentation. We sometimes call this the TPP. They have done this already. Basically what they do is they form groups, they form teams, they do an individual research report, and then they bring those research reports together and give a presentation as a team. This is complete. They'll be in the midst of what we call it's 2 pieces, the IWA, the individual written argument, and the IMP, the individual multimedia presentation. So the individual written argument, they'll be probably 2/3 of the way finished with when you start. What happens is that College Board presents the students with a stimulus packet of 7 sources. Some of them are super academic, some of them are artistic, some of them are literary. There's an essay by George Orwell in this one. There's a letter from Theodore Roosevelt to his son. There's a series of photographs, and then there are some more, standard scholarly articles. The students spend some time discussing that stimulus packet, choose a couple of sources that they find really compelling, and then do their own research to generate a thesis that's sort of inspired by the stimulus packet. And that's the individual written argument. They'll be finishing that up when you start. Then they need to present their paper. So essentially all they're doing is boiling down their paper into the most important and most interesting pieces to do a presentation between 6 and 8 minutes. This you'll sort of guide them through. I have created a video or shared with you a video for the College Board guidelines for that presentation. It is the second time they've done a presentation, so they shouldn't need as much guidance and support from you, but you'll get a sense of what they need. You could even survey them early on and say, hey, what would be helpful? Do you want me to teach you about presentation skills? Do you want me to teach you about making eye contact? Do you want me to teach you about how to make compelling slides using PowerPoint or whatever? And then the oral defense is just they have to defend, they're asked 3 questions at the end. You don't need to worry about the oral defense because Mr. Wagner is going to be scoring these presentations. An important reminder here, or not a reminder, but important thing for you to know is that College Board scores these 3 things, which means we're not permitted to score them. I give them a completion grade for turning them in. So if they turn in an IWA that meets the word count and is a paper and has an argument, they get a 50 out of 50. If they turn one that's half done, they might get a 25 out of 50. Same thing with the presentation. If they show up and deliver their presentation and we're sort of basically prepared, they get 50 out of 50. If they show up and they are can barely remember their argument, they're reading off their slides, I might give them a 40 out of 50. But you're not scoring them on a rubric or anything like that because College Board is doing that. And then the end of course exam, which you'll be preparing them for, but College Board has a lot of really good, helpful stuff that you can use, and I'll show you how to do that in terms of test prep. You don't need to create any test prep on your own. It's 2 parts. So the first is analyzing an argument. So they'll get a source that they've never seen before, and they'll be asked, what is this? What is the thesis? What's the argument of this source? And what evidence is the author using to support that argument? And they'll need to answer those in short answer form, not as an essay. And then that's the short part, only about a half an hour. And then part B is actually writing an essay. So they'll get two sources and they'll have to synthesize what those two sources are doing together by answering a single essay question. And the suggested time for that is 90 minutes. So this is a much longer task. In terms of how to create these, just in case you're feeling anxious about it, if you go, and I'll show you this really carefully, but if you go to AP Central, you'll have a login opportunity like I do here. And you click AP Seminar. What you see here, well, and you can watch the little bits here. What you see here is a whole bunch of information for you. What you're going to use the most is this little button over here that says Question Bank. And if you make it high exam alignment, you can see all of these are already created for you. So the ones that say construct an evidence-based argument, that's that part B of the test, the synthesizing and creating an evidence-based argument. The ones that say analyze sources and evidence, that's your part A of the end of course assignment. So you can assign any of these to the students. So let's say you want them to practice a part A. You can look at this one, you can preview it. So here's your source, and then identify the author's main argument, main idea, or thesis, and they write that here. Let's say you're like, oh yeah, I like this one. You just hit add, you give it a name, and then you create the quiz, and all the students are assigned that task. It's really that simple. That's all you need to do. And then you can go in once they've taken them, and you can score them at that point. And then you'll be able to see all their results together. Hopefully this wasn't overwhelming, but I really wanted to make sure you had a sense of like, what the heck even is this course and what is it doing? You'll be fine, and I'll walk you through a lot of the like techie stuff that might be difficult or challenging for you, but for the most part, it's all sort of out there and created.